So just real quickly, I have noticed in the past few weeks, um, the timing works out that Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon has
Mm-hmm.
had spinal surgery recently, and
Mm-hmm.
so might not be that involved. And I've kind of noticed a few more Triple H isms are starting to seep into the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm because Bronson Reed on Raw the other day, they
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that he wrestled for New Japan Pro Wrestling. I was like, wait a
Hold on
second.
a second.
This is the kind of stuff that happened during a brief period of time in 2022, the latter half of 2022 there.
Mm-hmm.
And then another January 6th happened, but this time in 2023.
This time proving why we can't have nice things.
And now Io Sky is the WWE Women's Champion. Is
She's
the belt that
WWE or the
she's got.
world?
No, Rhea Ripley is the world.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. Gotcha.
Belts are much better now. I like them much better.
Well, they're a little easier to
Um,
tell apart.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But Io Sky, if you remember, Vincent Kennedy McMahon retired while she was sort of like free agent, like her contract
Mm-hmm.
was running out or whatever, but she had always been in NXT.
Yeah.
Then Mr. McMahon retires, SummerSlam, she comes out, Damage Control debuts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Io Sky's not only back, but on the main roster. And now, all of a sudden, Damage Control isn't teasing breaking up anymore. And Io
Mm-hmm.
Sky is the champion. And we're starting to mention New Japan Pro Wrestling a little bit more. And I'm wondering what's going on. If maybe Vince has taken a step back and we're getting a little bit more Triple H in the product.
It's possible. From what I heard, the spinal surgery that he went through
Mhm.
was quite it was a major spinal surgery. Like they really had to
I
get in
would
there and
imagine
chip all the
any,
yella off his spine.
yeah.
But so he's probably on some pretty heavy medication. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they might have a window essentially where they can get some stuff done. I mean, the sad state of affairs is that tomorrow Vince could just decide to change it
Yeah.
15 minutes after the show started. So
Mm-hmm.
it could all just go out the window. But it is nice to see while it's here. It's one of those things where you're kind of like, it's like a new winter, you know? You're
Mm-hmm.
just like, this is lovely while it's here, but I know soon it will be cold and miserable. You know?
See, I was a big fan of that 6 month period of
Mm-hmm.
Triple H running the show because Triple H, like, he just has a respect for wrestling
Mm-hmm.
that you don't get with Vince. Like Triple H will do the Vince McMahon playbook of building the big, larger than life superstar, but there's more things that
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll hand out to like the wrestling fans. Like he'll allow them to say wrestling. He'll talk
Yeah.
about New Japan Pro Wrestling and things like that. So,
Well, Vince
I'm
has always
hopeful.
seen it as like entertainment and TV, right?
Yeah.
Like that's always as they've become more and more neon and PG'd and public traded and Disneyfied,
Mhm.
this kind of thing. And he's given you can't say this and you can't say that, and it's not a belt, it's a title, and you can only have a title opportunity and not match, and those kinds of things. They make the product seem way more genuine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And or way less genuine. I'm sorry, it's way less genuine is what I meant to say. They make it sound like you're watching a TV show. You're watching a show
Mhm.
within a show, and wrestling's not supposed to be that.
Mhm.
Wrestling is supposed to be a live, athletic, competitive event. Like you
Mhm.
remember, promos and stuff used to happen like quickly in between matches at the ringside. Now there's whole studios set up just for promos, and there's that weird wrestler TV watching room where they all watch TV at that weird angle, yeah. And so, and all these things, and you've lost a lot of the element of the idea that it's a competition. We view
Mhm.
match outcomes as decisions a lot more than we do, actual outcomes, and that hurts. So Triple H, I think, understands the value of presenting it as a sporting event.
Yeah.
It's like tuning
Yeah.
in. It should be like tuning into Monday Night Football. You're going to get
Mhm.
uh, color commentary. You're going to get athleticism. You're going to get some cutaways, a few little vignettes here and there, maybe to tell you about a player or something. And you get an entertaining halftime show to do a skit in, so you can watch that and be entertained by it, but also be marveled at the athleticism of it. And Triple H brings that into it, and I think it's great. I wish it would go way, like, I will say, like, stop lighting the audience, get rid of the padded barriers, put the steel fencing back up, you know what I mean? Like, give me that stuff, because that's the real, like, gritty stuff that people connect with when it comes to wrestling,
Yeah, I think, and another thing about Triple H is he doesn't pretend that WWE is the only wrestling company.
Yeah.
Like, Vince always wants WWE to be something different. Like, they're not wrestlers, they're superstars, right? That's a perfect example.
A TV show within a show.
Yeah.
It's not enough that you're acting like a wrestler. Let me tell you what I would call the wrestler in my TV show, a superstar.
And you see that there was so after SummerSlam, there was one thing on Raw that we have here on our list of things to talk about that I thought was pretty cool. And that was at the very end of Raw, when everyone just wanted to go to bed. They said, "Nah, here's an angle," and Shinsuke Nakamura turns on Seth Rollins, and it looks like that's our next program for the World Heavyweight title, is Nakamura versus Rollins, and that sounds just fine.
Which is another Triple H-ism that you mentioned, I would dare to say, because I cannot see Vincent Kennedy McMahon being like, who we should put in the main event?
Yeah.
That guy in the funny jumpsuit. That makes me laugh.
That was another thing that got me thinking, though, because Triple H is higher on Nakamura than Vince McMahon is on Nakamura.
Way higher.
So it's another sign that like not just that the Triple H-isms are seeping in there, but like people who wouldn't get pushed with Vince are getting pushed. And so that's
they're finally starting to listen to the audience on LA Knight.
Yeah. But the worst, like, my Nakamura fan heart was broken at WrestleMania in 2018. Remember, he won the Royal Rumble that year.
Yeah.
And then he goes to WrestleMania. I was like, here it is. Put the world title on Nakamura. Here is a larger than life character, an international superstar, but he doesn't beat AJ Styles. And then he turns heel by low blowing AJ Styles after the match. And then his gimmick for like the next 6 months is that he hits people in the nuts. And I just went like, what'd you have the guy win the Royal Rumble for? Like, were you not going to turn this guy into a star? And I can't help thinking it was just like, all of a sudden one day Vince was like, "Nah, I take it back. I'm not going with him." And I was like, oh.
Yeah. And that match itself too, I remember it was very underwhelming and disappointing for a lot of people, because that was like a dream match, because they'd had such incredible rivalries in Japan and stuff. And after that, he never really recovered. He was doing the only other thing he did of note was he was the Intercontinental Champion for a while, kind of placeholdering that, unfortunately. And then Rick Boogs played guitar to his theme song. Which I'm never upset with more Rick Boogs, but it seemed a little beneath Shinsuke,
except for during that 6-month period when Triple H was running the show. And Triple H also allowed Nakamura to go out and do the Great Muda's final match during that period. And that was really cool. And so it's like, all right, here we go. It's Nakamura time. And then Vince comes back. But now all of a sudden, Nakamura's in a world title picture. Io Sky is the champion. It's like, wait a second here. What's going on? So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if it's just he's held up from the spinal surgery.
Maybe. You know what one always blew my mind that never caught on the main roster, really? Was Kairi Sane.
Oh, Kairi Sane. She's coming back.
Yeah. Good. She's amazing. And her whole like Sky Pirate thing, I'm like, this is tailor-made for the WWE main roster, but they never really pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah, so here's another possible Triple H thing. Kairi left.
Yeah.
She went back to Japan. She went to Stardom. It's just come out that she's coming back to WWE.
Triple H-ism.
Triple H pushed her hard in NXT. Vince didn't push her hard on the main roster, and now she's coming back.
This is what has me worried because Triple H did not push me at all in NXT.